two.
So
the pull off where the fire
yeah,
heights, the pull offs are pretty narrow for you.
well,
That would've
pretty much.
taken us 5 minutes.
Ryan wants those pull-offs done away with, so people aren't,
Right.
so people aren't.
That's
Doing drugs.
providing access to the river.
Yeah. So have you ever tried, we keep trying to get a grant, but twice we've been knocked out. We're applying again. Tori's applying again for.
For the bridge removal
Yeah.
buttons?
Yeah, but they're also going to create a flood bench and lower it there.
Where, on the other side?
Yeah, and we're buying out that cabin.
You are, okay, I wasn't sure.
It's a buyout, but we're giving it to the Fish and Wildlife on that property, and then they'll have most of it. We do have a right of way down there. The town. They're wanting us to give it to them, but I haven't said, we haven't said yes.
And wildlife.
Yeah, Fish and Wildlife.
So FEMA's gonna do the buyout,
Yeah, I got a thing today saying that, the lawyers can start doing their,
What did the town just buy? Is it
oh, it's the buyouts,
off
um,
the team.
but it's off, it's, it doesn't even
That's
show.
That's true.
This,
Yeah, because that's where the equipment is.
yeah, so, oh, here's the road, it's called Dead End Road, it comes off there. And the cabins in here. And Fish and Wildlife, we're trying to get the abutments out and then lower this. And the flood, this bench.
This would be another piece. We opted to meet today because couldn't meet last month. And we have an important meeting in 2 weeks. Wastewater meeting, discuss and then also a school board meeting on that Wednesday. Thank you all for coming. Hard to get together in the summer with vacations and other things, travel.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Bruce.
802
You might think it's
7
such a
6.
say. Yeah, putting up some. Thank you.
Hey, Bruce, a reminder that we're having our wastewater meeting right now, if you can make it, thanks. Well, with his cell phone, he could get it, that's his cell number. Sorry.
Not cooperating. Do you have to do that drag thing? Yeah, here. All right, maybe we'll do the slow scroll and look at that. Stop if you have questions or comments. Any questions, comments on the? There.
I'll motion to accept the minutes of June 17th.
Seconds. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So move. Okay, Peter, you're up.
All right, let's see, still a lot happening. I'll start with archaeology. We had a meeting probably 2 weeks ago now with Scott Dillon, who is the state SHPO archaeology reviewer, and we met with Lynette and Charlie Knight, who's our consultant, to start discussing what Scott needed to get into, or what Charlie needed to get into the ARA in phase 1 to sort of satisfy Scott's requirements. The meeting itself was not really that great. There was a fair amount of kind of tension between Scott and Charlie, but all in all, I think the outcomes of the meeting were pretty good. Ultimately, Lynette was able to forward on some example ARAs from other village wastewater projects, and I don't think she intended to, but she also sent a phase 1 for that particular project, which was Montgomery. And that was helpful for Charlie to be able to go back and revisit his ARA and try to give Scott what he needs to hopefully approve and keep us moving forward on that. So he revised that late last week. It's in my court. I'm taking a peek at it and hoping to send it off to Lynette and Scott tomorrow. Then hopefully Scott can take a look at it, and we can come up with a game plan for some additional phase 1 testing. So far, Charlie's, I think he's tested 3 or 4 sites, and then he ended up with another, I think he ended up with a total of 8. So hopefully that's at a scale and his justifications are enough to sort of satisfy Scott. But the next step will be kind of to get them reconciled and hopefully moving forward.
So you don't anticipate any delays? That holding things up?
Well, not yet. Hopefully Charlie's been super responsive, and I think he'll be able to, as soon as we can come to an agreement on what needs to be done, I think he can get the work done pretty quickly. Lynette sort of gave me, some backup plan ideas if we end up having more significant amounts of archaeology work to do, which would be to sort of, for the environmental review, split out some of the backyard portions of the testing that we may need to end up doing, where the septic tanks and step tanks are going. So either way, I don't anticipate it being a huge problem that we can't get through, time wise frame. Yeah, Linda?
So are we working with Northern Borders at the same time? With their environmental review, or are we supposed to be working together?
Yes, we're
Is
still.
Scott or Dylan, are they one of those people? No?
They're one of the sub reviewers of that, everything that goes into that environmental review. And so we're still pulling together that document and all the pieces to that document. But yes, this will be one of those pieces.
Thank you for the reminder, Linda.
Of what? I'm just trying to get it clear in my head who these people are. That's all.
Yeah, this
So
is the state
there are
Office of Historic.
there are two subcontractors working for different firms. One's doing a phase one, one's doing a
Oh, no,
archaeology.
sorry, I wasn't super clear. Charlie Knight works for Crown Consulting. He's a kind of a sole proprietor who does the archaeology work. He's a sub-consultant to us, Stone, doing the archaeology, and Scott Dillon is the state historic preservation officer that reviews what the consultants pull together and then comment and ultimately hopefully approve and sort of sign off on the piece that will ultimately get rolled into that environmental interest document and will need to get reviewed by the Northern Border folks also.
So this is just the archaeological review, which is part of the environmental review. Okay, I got it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sorry,
And at the same time, we're moving other pieces of that game forward as well. For example, we're hopefully close to being able to submit the wetlands application and the rare, threatened, and endangered species piece of it. So there's a bunch of pieces that all kind of come together and go into that document.
Does the wetland application take a long time, Peter?
It can take a long time for the review on the state level. Historically, it's not one of the fastest permits to get. Although I will say, our wetland ecologist that's working with us is sort of a dedicated ARPA reviewer. So I think, things should go a little bit faster with him if I had to guess, but
That's Kristen.
so once again, Kristen Rose of Rose Environmental is our sub-consultant working for Stone doing the work. I always space his name, but Lynette, who's the wetlands biologist that's ARPA funded?
I apologize. I can never remember.
I always
But
want to
when
say
you do make the submittal, just make sure that you highlight that it's a ARPA funded project. When it goes in, it gets special staff and special tracking.
great. Yep. So that's the update on those two fronts. On the sort of hydrogeo front, we've made some decent progress.
This is at the school.
Specifically
At the school, right?
at the school, yeah. Specifically, Amy was able to get some more Tramido data, which is the kind of the seismic mapping of the bedrock surface. And she was able to incorporate that into her essentially the contours of the bedrock surface. And that piece of the puzzle is starting to look a lot better and more convincing of what we want it to look like, which is there's a little bit more of a ridge showing up between where the wastewater disposal area is and the school well. It's a little bit more defined and apparent than some of the previous versions. So that was really good news. We've also, I don't know if you remember, we mentioned we needed to retest the school because it had some traces of like artificial sweeteners, which can sometimes be indicative of wastewater. Largely because those sweeteners never go away, kind of like well, I shouldn't say they never go away, but they stick around for a long time and they travel in groundwater. Anyway, we retested the school well, and those very trace amounts are still there. So that kind of isn't great in terms of us trying to understand what's going on. There's all kinds of reasons why that could be happening, and I think we're still kind of working on our conclusions. Moral of the story is we still need to do some additional subsurface investigations and get out there with a drill rig. We're hoping to do that in September. And we've been working with Lynette to update our engineering service agreement and more specifically our PCS, project cost summary, and trying to get all the details of that to jive and work out and have something that Lynette can look at and improve and move forward. So we're making good progress on all of that, and hope to have something.
Can you just walk us through a worst case scenario with more testing and this artificial sweetener business, and is that going to scare the school board away? I mean, because that would be their own wastewater system as a potential contaminant to their well, right? And that has nothing to do with our project, but
potentially. I guess yeah, I mean, I guess worst case scenario is when we do the drilling, we have a better understanding of the sand till bedrock interface and what those levels are, and also maybe have some more information on where the actual groundwater table is. Worst case scenario would be that we do have some sort of concluding evidence that everything is traveling from the disposal area straight towards the well or towards the well, and that we need to come up with some sort of a mitigation to that scenario. So far, I would say, what's that?
So that would that mean that we would have to come up with a mitigation for their potential pre-existing contamination? Is that what you're thinking?
Oh, I don't actually think there's a pre-existing contamination problem. We're totally just using that as a loose indicator to try to understand and date groundwater at the well and springs in the area. I would say let's hold off till we can get Jeff Hopper and or Amy to kind of dive into those nitty-gritty details a little better than I can.
So the moratorium that you're talking about in September that's not going to throw off our meeting with the school board in August.
No, I was going to suggest that we do hold that off and wait till we have the results. So put it off another month. I don't think we're at a point where we have all that data we need to really make a compelling case to them, which is what we want to do. So those are probably the two of the bigger developments. Yep.
And committee. Part of the school board meeting was also to review the easement for the project. Do you see any reason why the committee shouldn't still meet for that separate from the hydrogeological discussion, or should they kind of have them together?
My general feeling is that it should happen together. I was pretty happy with the way that easement came out. I thought David did a really good job of keeping it simple, but also kind of making it to protect the school adequately in a way that I think they should like. But I think if we try to present the easement without kind of the convincing argument that we feel confident on the hydrogeology around the well, I think the conversation could get, I don't know, trickier, and we probably would look like we're not ready to have that conversation, if that makes sense.
So Peter, do you want to reach out to the school board, Elliot, and just to tell them why what we need to postpone again?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. I wanted to have this meeting and make sure everyone was okay with that, but yeah. Let's see what else is notable. We have two estimates for the carrier, sort of the mini carrier bridges to carry the force main across the two stream crossings. We are rolling those into our ESA that's going to Lynette, and we're still trying to decide which of the two firms we prefer to work with. Engineering Ventures and Stantec are the two firms. So that's moving along. One thing, well, we should probably talk about easements. My understanding from talking to Alex is that those have been sent out to landowners. And one thing I wanted to let everyone know is I think one of our yes properties flipped to potentially opting out or a no, which is the property next to the Methodist church, apparently just sold to somebody new. And it was previously Kyle Martell, who was very much in favor of the project. But as of now, the new owner, Robert Flandez, isn't interested in hooking up. So I didn't get a great sense on how much. Maybe I should get a little bit of a better sense on the full conversation between Alex and Robert, but maybe this is something that committee could take on. Is just trying to.
So has
educate.
Alex actually talked to him?
I believe Alex has actually spoken with him. Yeah.
So basically, we share with the church.
Right.
We're taking ours away, so he won't
Right.
have anything. What's he gonna have?
Yeah, well, that was sort of, that's exactly what we said in our little
Yeah,
internal meeting we had. We're like, okay, I'm not sure what he's going to do if we're replacing that with a new tank.
and the lawyer pointed out that, you know, he would have to get a wastewater amendment or something to, I don't know.
Or to join or to not join?
He does not want to join.
So
So,
we're disconnecting him as part of the project?
well, I think it's on the church property, probably the only place to put it. The tank is there because we don't have much property.
You talking about Nazarene Church or?
No.
It was next
This
to,
is
so it's next to the Wolcott Church.
The Wolcott United
It's on
Methodist
the
Church.
north side, the house that we're talking about here, the blue house.
Yeah, and so right, there's a little strip of land right in between, which the church owns, and the leach field and stuff is right there. And they're shared. It's been like that since 1982.
This is on the north side of the street.
Yeah, that little blue house.
It's something like that 6 months ago or something like that.
Bedrock behind it. So did we send a letter that clearly explains that?
No, they just bought it, And so they don't.
But they're not gonna, essentially, they're not gonna have a choice,
They
right?
don't have any real, they haven't been part of the whole conversation, I don't think, about it being free and all that. Yes, they do. As soon as they bought the property, Linda told me, I sent them a copy of that first letter we sent out to people, you know.
But this is-
I sent it out to them.
But this is especially relevant even more than the regular opt-outs, that if the church says we're gonna disconnect that system, they won't have a system. That's not the case with other people that wanna opt out. They can have an existing system that might limp along, but.
Well, they won't have a system because it's our system.
Right, that's what I'm
which
saying,
we're
they
getting
don't have a
rid of.
choice.
Yeah, our combined,
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of room to work there. So that could get tricky for sure.
Because we're running out of time for people to opt in, right? If he says we're opting out, if we want to try to flip them back to an opt-in, the clock is ticking because of the permit application date, right?
Yeah, no, that's right. We need to start ironing that out. So it's kind of unfortunate that we have one go in the other direction.
well, there's other ones on there. I mean, we haven't, have you gone and seen Douglas? We need a conversation with them. They aren't a yes or a no. Mr. Teal refuses to pick up his mail. Has Alex gone and talked to Kurt Billings?
Yes, he met with them, had a good conversation, but really didn't get anywhere in terms of like changing his mind. He doesn't want to hook up. He's just fundamentally still opposed to the concept of it.
How about the Bowers, the well shield and so forth? They were back and forth about that one.
They're still in our no camp and don't have a legitimate opt out. They have a leach field within a well shield. So Teal, Bowers, and Kurt Billings are the three that don't want to hook up, that don't meet the opt out criteria. This new person, Robert Flendez, would probably also fall into that category. And then we have Deborah Davis, Stephen Amanda Wolf, and Allison Hayes and Dominique Laporte. None of them want to hook up, but they do meet the criteria. So as of now, I think there's 7 that don't want to hook up.
So we need further conversations with Douglas and this new guy.
Yeah.
Well, I know that was on, I think, from the last meeting minutes, it was on Bradley and I's to-do list for Douglas. Maybe we could still reach out to her. Every time I drive by there, her car's not in the driveway, so.
So she works for Marshall's. I saw her the other day. I don't know.
Linda, would you mind taking on
Yeah,
the new person and
Oh, yeah.
and then
No, I won't.
and then maybe we can reach out to
No, I don't want to talk to him.
Douglas. You don't want to talk to him?
No.
Okay. I just don't know the nuances of what the church, what's going to happen. This is different than a regular opt-out.
Right.
The church controls or co-controls the system, and will the church say, we're going to disconnect it? Do they have the right to do that if he is an opt-out and doesn't meet, like these other folks? We're just telling them essentially, if your system fails, it's on you to hook up at your cost. We don't even know if he has that option because
Yeah, I'll have to
we don't know
take
if Sorry.
I was gonna say, I'll just have to take a closer look at the site plan and see if there's a way that the church could have a tank that doesn't impact the existing system. Meaning you could disconnect the church's pipe, go into a step tank, new septic tank pump station that's just for the church that pumps to the force main. I don't think there's enough room to do that and still maintain whatever's there. But I haven't actually looked at that to see if maybe there's a place we could kind of stick it and try to keep things separate.
What is there? What is there?
If I had to guess, it's a dry well of some sort, which is a perforated tank, an open tank that allows, fills up and allows the wastewater to go out the sides of the tank.
It's all ledge over there.
Yeah.
So Peter, you think you'd have a chance to look at that if you're in the neighborhood or?
Yeah, I think I could probably just look at plans and pictures we already have and talk to Alex a little bit and see if there's any hope for that person or if we need to have a more serious conversation that this is really impacting what the church has been planning.
But who is the ultimate decision maker here? I guess is my question. Is we've given people to say, okay, they can, even if they don't meet the opt-out, they don't have to hook up technically, but the onus is on them if their system fails, they have to pay for it. But in this case, I'm at a loss to, who's the decision maker here? Is it us? Is it the church? Does it have to be the church and this new landowner making a decision? I don't know the answers to those. Who gets to make the final decision here?
It's a good question. I don't know. Ideally, they could come to a consensus together, but
It'd be easiest if the church said no.
yeah. Oh, said no to them.
Said it's going to be disconnected.
Yeah.
When the new system comes in.
Right. All right. Well, we'll take a look at it and then we can email around or talk about what next steps are.
The 7 no total or no or opt out number, does that, we'll probably have to reconfigure our annual service charge or monthly service charge with the new numbers, right? And I know we had like MSI wanted more capacity, so we have and then where these FEMA buyouts are shaking out,
Yeah, I think things are pretty up to date. I haven't seen anything for projections new come out of Julie Beth, so maybe hopefully we're close to at that point. I will one other update I wanted to share was that Seth, myself, Alex, Tori, were you there? We all met with MSI to kind of talk a little bit long range planning and growth of that complex there. And we're still waiting for some more information for them, but they were throwing out numbers of like, oh, well, the new cannery business is hoping to have 50 employees in the next 5 or 10 years or something.
Cannery? Can you what's that business? Is that the marijuana?
Yes,
okay.
The seltzer business.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, you're familiar with this, Jim? The one that's moving towards going in there now.
Okay, I did hear about the special elixir. Yeah. But they're gonna need a lot of water and wastewater capacity.
Well, we're trying to make projections and understand what the basis for those projections are, and also understand if there's 50 employees, what does that mean for actual product, and what does that mean for actual wastewater? so I need to circle back with them and see if they have any new information that can help us like put numbers to it. But one interesting thing that came out of that meeting that I guess the committee should be aware of is that somehow Jim Mahoney, up until that meeting, was not aware of the fact that there's this annual or this monthly or quarterly or however we end up charging it, operation and maintenance fee. He seemed like absolutely shocked and surprised.
Did they think it was gonna be free?
He lives in the village of Hyde Park. He pays it personally.
What's that? Of Hyde Park. So he said that and he seemed to totally understand it, but somehow he didn't understand that was part of this project. So that's all to say, I wasn't really sure where he was going to end up landing in terms of like wanting to pay for capacity that they don't need right now. Like if we figure out that, 10 years from now, they want twice as much wastewater capacity of what they have now, or 3 times as much, my hunch is he's not going to want to be paying for it, starting on day one. I certainly explained that we want to like size these tanks for the appropriate amount of growth so that you're not needing to add more.
When's the seltzer cup? When are they moving in?
It was sounding like it's coming right up soon.
In the big brown building? With the docks?
Yes, I believe so.
And they did drill a well, right? I saw they drilled the
Yeah.
well recently.
That's right. They drilled the well, and that was like fantastic news for them. They have plenty of water.
Great.
And so they're in good shape on that end. It didn't sound like there was any showstoppers in terms of the fees, but I think we're probably going to want to work relatively soon to start giving them an idea of what we're talking about, because we didn't really talk numbers at all.
Peter, any word from the 2 landowners on the west side of the village, Grimes and the one next to Grimes, about the lots that are not developed and what they wanted? Did we make some decisions on? Are we going to build tanks on those undeveloped lots, and then they're gonna pay for those?
No, we are.
I think for the
Just not.
Just the
Steps.
just the stubs.
exactly, yeah. I don't think they wanted to actually put in the tanks. They just wanted to be able to hook up at some point. Grimes in particular, I think, wasn't too worried about doing the tanks himself when he was ready.
Did we ever hear from this Teal one across the street here? Lynn?
Right here, no, next to us.
But who's the one? The one that next to Burns?
Yeah, they signed up.
They did.
Well, yeah, we found them.
And they said yes.
They returned the thing.
So when's our drop dead date on this, Peter, that we need to know who's in, who's out, and capacity?
I think we still have some time. I don't really have a specific drop dead at this point. We're moving so many balls forward at the same time. I would probably say
Didn't we have a deadline in there?
Lori has
I would say like
no,
middle of October, we really need to be honing in on it to the point where that's, when the plans are really going to be coming together.
Have you worked back from when you want to bid, like the permit schedule and
Yes, on that.
everything?
Yeah, we're doing the best we can.
Okay. One of the other villages sort of forgot that you can't get a permit on someone else's land. So the easements also have to be in when the permit application, before the
Yeah,
draft permit can be issued.
yeah, I heard that. What we're about to talk about next, Lynette, is that all the easements have gone out to landowners. Is that true, Linda, actually? You want to maybe give us an
Yes,
update of?
yes, all the easements went out, I think, yesterday to the landowners. I had Alex, review the list to make sure we're not sending people that didn't want them or hadn't committed yet.
So those 7 no's did not get easement letters.
No.
Either
And
knocked out.
Douglas didn't get one. And this new guy didn't get one, I don't believe, I'm not sure. So anyone that, all the deeds, the property transfers, and if they had a mortgage, all of that, I found and sent to David. And he wrote them all up with a copy of a map attached, so they can see that where the easement will be on their property, and I think they were sent out yesterday. Here's the letter, and he sent as a cover letter. And he did, mention the 19th as, when people could come and have it notarized, and I was thinking we need to work with somebody to notarize them. David said he'd be willing to come to that meeting if you
Oh, good.
like to answer questions.
Yeah, that'd be great.
He probably could notarize.
Yeah, he probably could, right? I'll be there, but
But you could, if we ask her nicely.
You could, maybe, I don't know, we'll see.
But if David could, that would solve that.
All right,
So we're saying at 6. So we're gonna have our regular meeting at 5 and then open up to at 6.
mm-hmm.
So, I'm just wondering, so that's 2 weeks out. People might be a little frightened getting a letter from the lawyer and.
Well, they have the option of not having to just come here and do it, they could deal with it themselves.
And who are we having as the contact that questions on this?
Yeah, it says, please feel free to contact me with any questions you may have.
Okay.
Because they have to send him their social security numbers.
And how are we gonna handle, what if we only get a partial percentage after this meeting on the 19th? How do we handle these if we're not getting responses?
I
Follow
think
up.
probably the same way we've been going about trying to get people to do the forms, following up, maybe setting up times to, I mean, my hunch is if they don't have questions, they could come into the town office anytime and do the notary, right?
Yeah,
So it'll just be a matter of following up. Lynette, for better or worse, I think in Wolcott will be a little bit different than the other community because we're not really relying on any particular property to agree or not to agree to hook up, with exception of maybe this Methodist church problem we are running into. And
Understood.
the town probably won't kind of pursue enforcement of the few folks who aren't going to want to hook up.
But Lynette, you had a question?
I just, understand where you're going. And as we get closer, maybe let's strategize about how to show that or not show that. So, please just freeze and don't delete.
Say that again, Lynn. I didn't
What
quite.
does it say?
didn't
Oh,
quite hear you.
sorry. So when you're drawing in AutoCAD, there's options for like getting rid of something by freezing it, so it's still there. You just can't
Oh.
see it.
Are you saying it? What?
And they're like programmed for drawing up the design plans. Just each of these properties that are gonna get an easement, like not removing them, but just like keeping them invisible on it.
Right. Yeah, you got it right, Tori. That's what Lynette was talking about.
What? They've already got them in the mail, a copy of their,
The ones that said no, the ones that said no, you mean, or?
no.
Well, so for the ones that don't like, immediately respond for an easement, right?
Okay.
We want to make sure that they remain on the plans, but maybe are invisible for planning.
How would DEC handle that if they said yes, they're in, but they haven't done the easement work?
That's why I wanted to make sure we didn't delete anything, so I have a little bit of time to work that out with Ashwak and Bruce. It's been commonplace in the past that once the excavators show up, that more people want to connect.
They'll want to connect once they see the excavators?
That's what happened in Cabot and Pownell, so that's what I've been told. I don't know. That predates me by a long time.
Yeah. Well, we have Bruce's excavator. For that Parkinson. And we gained two in Bruce's, right? Project there. Did we gain two extra parcels with that?
Taylor Road is on the list. He just can't make up his mind what he's doing, sorry.
They poured the concrete though.
But he still doesn't know what he's building.
Hey, Peter, if Douglas was a no, do they meet criteria?
Good question.
That is a really good question because I don't actually. Hold on, let me.
Because they have a lot of ledge in the backyard, and I'm wondering if they're in the floodplain from the Elmore branch.
Oh, here's Douglas. Yeah, right. Are they flip-flopping back and forth? Is that what's happening? Because right now they're highlighted as a yes, but in a cautionary orange.
You're playing dumb.
I think it was a yes
Well,
from the kids, and then the mom's gotta turn it green.
But we
Oh,
can
right.
never find it. We can never get a hold of her.
Maybe true, I've never been in their house, so as soon as it goes in, it might just disappear.
I don't know the answer to that. I'll have to look if it's not showing up on my spreadsheet one way or the other.
Okay. And same question for Mendez, I guess, next to that Methodist church.
Oh, right.
Like you said, that's kind of different, like if.
Yeah, that's a good question on that one. We have to look at the well shields and check it out. I did walk that property very early on in this project, and they have a little bit of land to work with up there, not a lot, but it's very wet and a lot of bedrock. It's not great.
I guess the first thing to answer is who owns that well, I guess, for the connections, so.
Yeah,
Our well is on the other side near the shed. I don't know where his well is.
Who's finding that? Peter did that? Peter finding that?
Well, to me, To me, the reason I don't want to talk to him is because it's a complicated situation, and I think it needs an engineer to say what you can and can't do. I'd be happy to be there and represent the church, but,
With Peter there.
or Alex or
Right.
something, but I just, I don't know enough information to go have a conversation with him.
Yeah, let me find out how
I
the
don't know where,
conversation.
what's there, I don't know where his spring is, I don't know anything.
Yeah,
Other than
well,
it's connected.
let's take a look at it. I'll find out exactly what conversations Alex has had to date, and then we can come up with a game plan. Maybe we can try to talk to him the same day. Come up a little bit early and see if I can talk to him before the meeting 2 weeks from today. Just, if nothing else, like, make sure he fully understands the situation. Kind of the consequences of it.
So did he get that second, or that letter that said, if you don't meet opt out and your system fails, you're either way, if you opt out, you essentially have to pay for a replacement system and to hook up to our system?
I sent him the first letter,
Did that say that in the first letter?
I would have thought they both did. They weren't much different, were they? They just said final notice or something,
Well, the
notice.
second one, Linda, the second one was the one that kind of talked about the fact that the cost will be on them if it fails, and now is your opportunity to get it for free. So
Can we send
either
them a
having
second?
that conversation or sending that letter might be worthwhile.
Yes. So can we send them that second letter? Just so that I just want us to be crystal clear with them, and that's even a separate question from who's managing, who owns the existing system, who gets to make the decision on that. But from our perspective,
Yeah,
they need to know that they have to pay for it if their system fails.
I tried to get the guy to sign it before, an easement, David and I did, before he sold.
that would have been great.
He wouldn't, David thought we should have made him, but he was really, no. He wouldn't do it, he didn't want any more lawyer costs, and
Yeah,
I think he was having a hard time selling the property.
right. Yeah, that makes sense. And nobody ever really wants to throw extra burdens onto a property if they don't have to.
Anything else on the easement discussion, easement letters? So next meeting, we're just gonna have our regular meeting from 5 to 6, and then we're gonna open it up to the landowners, and we'll have David here. Is there anything that we need to do at that meeting or be prepared for? Or that's mostly an exercise for David?
I think it's mostly an exercise for David, or I'll be there if they just want general information about that isn't more on the legal easement end of it. If it's just more information about like what they're
Locations.
actually signing up for.
You'll be prepared to go over the maps and stuff, Peter, if they have questions of where the easement is.
Sure. Yep.
That would be great
Yeah.
if you're here.
And as people really look at it, there may be scenarios where folks have reasons why they want things a little different. And, we can always go back and tweak things.
So should we do a little front porch forum post to push this meeting and talk about it? And just let them know if landowners in the village have questions on the easement or the system location, that you're gonna be here, Peter, that David's gonna be here. Should we try to plug that?
I think that'd probably be good. Yeah.
Maybe even twice.
Yeah.
Soon and right before.
Yeah, maybe one next week and then one a reminder the following week, like early in the following week. All right, school board meeting, so we're just gonna postpone that until September. When do they meet? On the third Wednesday, is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's always the select board meeting, so
Yeah.
that's 17th.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see exactly when we're able to get the drill rig out there. We're not like ultimately that we need to have that data and be able to process. So it's possible it ends up even being the October meeting. But either way, I'll send Elliot an email and let him know what's going on and bump it off.
Could we send him the easement ahead of time to just review? Because, I mean.
Yeah,
his
that's a
law-
good idea, Linda.
His lawyer
Pretty
has
simple.
reviewed it. Tori made
Yeah.
some corrections.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I don't think we need to go there and necessarily have a big discussion about it, but it can't hurt for them to have it.
That easement also needs a map. Like the private landowner ones. Is that something that would be impacted by the ongoing research?
I don't think it will be, no. Because the area we need will be the area we need. I don't know whether or not we have created that map or not yet, but
We just so I'm clear what you're saying, we need landowner easements adjacent to the school as well, is that what we're saying?
no, this is the easement that will go to the school for them to kind of agree to it.
Okay.
Which I should point out that David worked with the school's attorney, so that's
Yeah.
a really good scenario. It's already kind of been through that attorney, which is great.
And then we have the right of way for the town forest, and assuming that's good with the town.
Well, we are the town, so we don't need to give ourselves an easement. It's built into the conservation easement in the deed. I'll ask Jack, he's coming to the next select board meeting.
Tomorrow?
No, on the 20th.
All right, is that it with school, Peter?
Yep.
Tori, Linda, anything on the grants front?
We did receive word today that we were not, selected by the Senate Appropriations Subcommittee on Interior and Environment to include Wolcott's project for the community wastewater system in their fiscal year 26 congressional district spending request.
It turned out for the million.
Well, they didn't even, we've already been approved for it for 25, but then they didn't give us the money. This time they didn't even put us in the budget.
Surprised.
But Tori might have some better news.
Well, no, I was gonna follow up with some more bad news.
Oh,
Which is.
So that's what we call the Welsh money, right? Just so we're.
yeah.
The project was also not awarded a Vermont Arts Council grant award for
Oh.
designing a decorative manhole covering.
We got rejected for the manhole cover? Really?
Ooh.
What? But that one hurts more than the $1 million one. What happened?
I don't know. Sorry.
That's all right. Well,
Well, things are tight, money's
kick
tight
us
right now.
when we're down.
Money is really tight now.
Who got it? Can we just take theirs?
I was hoping perhaps a resident artist would be willing to take on some extra design work this winter.
Or
Decorative manhole coverings.
Oh, we can, but I mean, if we design them, can we still get them?
Hey, it could be part of WAC.
Well, you have to have them, don't you?
But if you have the design, like, there's another round next year, we get like fabrication money.
I mean,
If we have a design or in place, to have a design contest over the winter. Well, we're forming a Wolcott Arts Collaborative.
incorporate that.
Incorporate it into there.
So we didn't get a grant for it, but it's something that's still happening.
It's an annual.
Don't we have to have manhole covers?
Well, there'll be manhole covers,
This is not pretty one.
just, yeah,
Right.
not
Right.
ones that might, yeah, be attention grabbing or have people.
Can we get one of the, we can get like, I know maybe the Winooski watershed has those, just the metal plates that they anchor to it, that just has some prefab. This drains to the Winooski watershed or something like that.
Yeah.
This dreams to the Wolcott School landfill.
Yeah, I don't know.
You have time to think about it.
Anything else on the grant? Funding, have any good news?
The project was also submitted under the current CDBG pre-application round for some HUD funds the state received.
What is that acronym?
CDBG, Community Development Block Grant.
So we applied for that?
The pre-application, the project would have to be invited for a full application, which should happen in the next few weeks.
Community development, what's the G? Oh,
Community Development
Grant.
Block Grant.
block grant, okay, BG. So we did a pre-application.
Yeah, that was due today.
For what part of, just for a short, potential shortfall?
For the, same reasons that the CDS request was submitted again,
And how much did we apply for?
1 million.
And this is state funding.
No. Well, it's money that came to the state, but it's federal, housing or urban development.
Good time to be asking for federal money, but glad you're being precise.
Do you guys have an updated project cost summary that you're using for these grants?
Are you asking Tori or are you asking me, Lynette? Because
I'm asking everybody.
we are working on updating the PCS as part of our latest ESA to you, Lynette.
Mhm.
I'm
Project
assuming
cost sheet, okay. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Better not funding for it. Okay, outreach, so we talked about a couple of front porch forum postings ahead of the next meeting. And we also have a town community barbecue on the 22nd. I know probably you can't be there, right?
I'll be there.
You're doing what?
The town community barbecue.
All right.
I think in years past, we've had a wastewater table. I'm potentially wearing two hats. Wolcott Arts Collaborative, where you talked about doing a table too.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know how that's gonna work, because I think Linda's gonna be preoccupied, rather than Bruce not gonna be here, unless we can recruit Bruce, but then he might be on the community
You'll be on the trust.
trust table.
I'm already helping the planning commission
maybe if I can have one table half of Wolcott Arts and half of wastewater.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Spinning platform.
So we could potentially do a table there. Do you have anything to show other than that?
I brought the stickers in and I updated a couple.
Oh, you did, okay.
I looked at it lately.
Do we ever have a communications plan?
Before we kind of gave us a plan, you know, a timeline. Which we're not following.
Oh, the flyer, yeah, how are we doing on the flyer? That's a big question. You made that pretty outreach flyer a while back.
Your front porch forum posting schedule.
Was that what it was? Was it specific to front porch?
It's basically, it told us each, what we were supposed to talk about each time.
We've been very quiet on front porch forum, somewhat intentionally, but I think with these new posts, that'll generate some interest and a lot of community stuff going. There's a ton of community stuff going on right now.
Yeah.
And then there's also the town forest. And there's an annual meeting, Linda, the town forest meeting in September.
September 13th. Is the grand opening.
Grand opening of the town forest.
What was the date? Middle of September?
Yeah,
13th.
Oh, exciting. Has he been building the trails out there or?
Yeah, so they've been waiting for a trail, some trails to be done. And they are done, I guess.
Was the parking area happening this year or?
I don't think so.
Okay. I'm only asking because our design work kind of intertwines with theirs a little bit in that area. And I can't remember the last. I think they shared with me a kind of a version of what they were thinking for parking.
Well, we do have a plan, but we don't, I don't think they built it. But I could be wrong. I haven't been down that way.
Yeah.
and our
Okay.
right of way does not conflict with any of the trails, I'm assuming.
Sorry, what's the question, Jim?
Our right of way through the town forest doesn't conflict with any of the town trails that haven't been built.
Well, it does go along the trail. That's where they said we could do it.
The new trails that they're building.
I don't know. And I am believing that they have not done the parking lot because the grand opening is at the Wolcott Elementary School.
Okay.
And that's where you could hook on to one of the, trails and there. So I think for parking, that's probably why.
And it also makes sense because there's not gonna be enough parking for an event down there anyway.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Somewhat related question, Peter. So all the test holes and digging that we've been doing over the summer, I'm assuming that we're ready for the athletic field to reopen for the students in a couple of weeks. I mean, the field is in good condition relative.
The field should be totally in good condition. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
I don't have anything else.
So we have, I guess our next meeting on the 19th, August 19th, and we'll do a couple front porch forum posts on our to-do list. And Bradley and I will try to go reach out to Marsha Douglas. Then Peter and Linda, we're gonna do some more work on Mr. Menendez. Is David all set for that, the 19th? Does he need anything else from us?
I'll send them. He asked if we wanted them, I'll send them. email saying yes.
We're not promising anything, food or anything for that. Any other people gonna be on vacation or anything in August? Gotta recruit Bruce back in here and Ellen. All right, I guess we're adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, see you later.
Thank you.
Right.
Thanks, Peter. So we'll see you in person next time, Peter. Thank you.
That's right, yep. See you then.
Bye.
Bye.